Hello. So my interpretation of the 5 videos were that the first and the last video seemed to be the most successful. Um, the first video, the medical professional attempted to understand the patient, made communication clear with the interpreter, and respected the patient's wishes, concerns, and cultural customs, and just made simple instructions for the patient to um, follow after the visit, and asked plenty of open-ended questions and gave enough time for the patient to answer and for the interpreter to ask the patient and relay the information that the patient would respond with. The second video, the medical professional just seemed unaware of underlying conditions that the patient could be experiencing. Also seemed to be wanting a quick diagnosis and didn't ask enough open-ended questions. Would interrupt the interpreter just to kind of get clear or faster response out of both the interpreter and the patient. The third video, the medical professional seemed to really care, made an effort to speak with the patient herself. However, this ended in miscommunication. Most words were just interpreted incorrectly due to culture and customs. In the fourth video, the nephew seemed to be answering for the uncle instead of asking the uncle directly. In addition, he also paraphrased many questions that the medical professional was asking him to ask the uncle, which ended up in a lot of I don't know answers and made it very difficult for the medical professional to really understand what is going on with the patient. The fifth video, however, explains cultural specific phrases that the interpreter was able to clarify with the medical professional. In the beginning, there was great communication between both the medical professional and the interpreter, and the interpreter was just able to ask deeper questions from the patient in order to keep clarification with the medical professional clear. And the medical professional was also able to ask plenty of open-ended questions to clarify really what the patient was experiencing, when and why he would experience it. So yeah, overall, that was my assessment. The ethical considerations of having a interpreter is just to not only keep the respect of the patient, but also really dig deep into what the patient is experiencing. One example would be in the fifth video, the patient stated that he was fatigued. However, in his cultural explanation, fatigue truly meant shortness of breath. So it's just important to have that interpreter that fully understands the language, the culture, and has great communication with both the patient and the medical professional. I had an experience with a previous patient when I was working at a skilled nursing facility, where the family would attempt to interpret what the patient was feeling whenever we would ask questions. Again, this ended up with the family just answering for the patient and not necessarily asking the patient our questions. In a skilled nursing facility, it's difficult to come by a interpreter. So, I mean, it even took a couple days to actually get an interpreter into the facility. Within the meantime, we had to just use our resources and use Google Translate, just because it was more efficient than the family's interpretation of what the patient was feeling. And that is my experience. Thank you.